mic.
Yeah, it was, but that's okay.
It's my son coming home.
For lunch?
Yes.
Looks like we're up and running on the PM session.
We're good? Okay, go ahead, Miss Valentini, thanks.
Okay, thank you. So the first is relating to the board fence, the wooden fence. I don't see on your revised site plan how that fence has changed. I'm assuming it's a fence between 13 and 11, but I could be wrong.
Sorry, yeah. If staff can open up the updated plans dated August 6th, I can walk you guys through it. It's on the site plan. It's on both sides, so it's on both the 15 McKay Field and the number 11. I'll just let staff catch up. Yep, just zoom in on the front page. Zoom in closer, closer, closer. So the zoom in. Yep. So if you start at the top, so the bubble, and because they're all date stamped, but so at the top there it says no proposed fence. If you sort of zoom in a bit more, no fence proposed along north property line, and there's an arrow showing where it starts. We've actually reduced the fence along the north side to start where their fence starts. So removing it completely and basically aligning with what the existing condition is. And then if staff scrolls down a little bit to the other side of the property line, you'll see that we have another, down,
yeah.
And back to the front of the building. Yeah, there you go. So you'll see another one that says no fence proposed along south property line, and we pulled it all the way back to the gate. So, and this, I mean, again, this was in correspondence back and forth with the neighbors about a week before the hearing, and we sent it out to say, like, okay guys, we've heard the concern, our apologies, this is what we can do right now, but rest assured that, you know, should we be approved and this move forward, obviously as good neighbors, we have no intention of inconveniencing, you know, a way of life that you've come to sort of understand and be used to. We can develop it in consultation with you, because again, I mean, my understanding is fences aren't even really a committee of adjustment consideration, but from a neighborly point of view, we definitely didn't want to get things off on the wrong foot. And clearly that fence issue raised a lot of
so I guess maybe I misunderstood then. So that's the fence from the you're initially proposing a fence from the front property line all the way to the front wall of the house. I thought it was the fence between the houses that was also a problem in terms of, particularly for number 11, in terms of access from their side yard down to their back. I may have misunderstood the correspondence, but that's what I thought was concerned. And I did note here that there's a proposed grade change of 3 steps down and then 3 steps up along that side. I thought there was some concern about access to the backyard, but
so their concern is that when they walk out of that side yard, that side door, they have about 2 feet of their property, and then right now they then walk onto 13 McKay Field driveway and walk towards the front of the property. So they've become accustomed to having more clearance than 2 feet. To your point, the first submission, we showed just a standard fence from the back of the property all the way to the front of the property line. Really not paying attention to it because we were more focused on larger issues. When we circulated it through the neighborhood, that element was flagged immediately as like, this is not conducive with the neighborhood, this is not how we use the space. And so we revised it accordingly to say, again, look, we'll cut back the front portions as best we can at this stage. Specific to the side entry of number 11, again, we communicated that absolutely we are not in any way going to impede on their ability to use that door, but we couldn't revise it beyond what is shown on this updated set of plans because it relates to a set of windows on that side which dictate where the stairs can go, which dictates where our gate goes. So it was far too complicated to just say, well, hey, we'll cut the fence back to, halfway down the building. It needs a bit more consultation, and there just wasn't enough time before the hearing. So we submitted this and tried to communicate our intentions.
Okay, any further questions?
Yeah, one more question. It's also relating to something that was in correspondence of objection that typically lots or houses with integral garages that are existing are on wider lots. Is that the case? sort of trying to look at the survey to see if the lot adjacent was wider, because I mean, I see the neighbor's point that the integral garage, like, the way I see your application is that you are proposing a wider house to some of the other new builds in the neighborhood, or at least that's what I think. Maybe you can help me figure out, is your client's lot less wide than the ones with existing integral garages, the old style integral garage, not, you know, and is your client's house going to be wider than some of the newer builds on the street that don't have integral garages?
Well,
Hopefully
so
that's clear.
it's a difficult question on some levels because I can say that the lots with integral garages vary throughout the neighborhood. I wouldn't say that our lot is smaller. If anything, it's probably the average. I think really it just comes down to a preferred form of development. A lot of the development in the neighborhood has been a two-story top-up. To come back to the point about the width of the building, I can only speak to the bylaws and the variances that we're not seeking. You know, we're setting this building in 4 feet on either side, whereas the bylaws only mandate a 36-inch, right, like 0.9. So we're narrower, in fact, than what we're allowed. And I appreciate that this all relates to FSI and coverage, but I think from the integral garage point of view, the way I approached it from an official plan and bylaw scenario was, if there were bylaws in place to preserve that aspect of the neighborhood, it would be demonstrative of not being able to do these things. I think because in other neighborhoods we get bylaws that prevent integral garage development, the fact that there are none in this neighborhood is evidence that the official plan understands that people will likely move parking from a detached garage in the rear down a side driveway to something at the front. And I mean, just to come back to the cover letter, one of the things that I wanted to establish with some of the photos that I provided about McKayfield Road right now is that everybody still parks in the front driveways. Nobody drives down the side of the house or uses the rear garage, as much as that was a character of the neighborhood. Often this is too narrow of a driveway anyways, and the garage is used for storage. So I contend that the integral garage is an element that exists in the neighborhood. It's been approved in the neighborhood previously, and there's nothing in the bylaws to me that suggests that it's not appropriate. Otherwise, there'd be bylaws there that prevent it.
Okay, any
Can
other?
I ask if there's an opportunity for a rebuttal to those?
No, there isn't.
Okay, because it's inaccurate.
Okay, no, there is no chance for rebuttal for the speakers. Panel members, do you have any more questions? Okay, seeing none, let's take it into committee then. Ms. Hayes?
Having reviewed all the materials on file and listened to the submissions, you know, I do appreciate that people do get used to existing conditions and existing access, and sometimes there's not an appreciation for the fact that sometimes that access is over someone else's property. I think that the variance is being requested here. The north side yard variance is with respect to the second floor. We do not have a variance with respect to height to the first floor, which often happens when someone is trying to put in a garage. I don't think the lot coverage is unprecedented in the area, nor do I think the FSI is, and I would be in support of the application. Those would be my comments.
Ms. Chan?
Yeah, I just echo a lot of what Joanne's observation. My observation is that in the neighborhood, actually, I have already just, you know, on the same street, there are at least 8 property that has a second floor addition. And I think that cumulatively, that the variance ask is actually moderate. And I can see why there's some big reaction, because it is difficult for people to understand the proposal in terms of size, actual size, and what they're looking for. And I do not think that that's being understood, and then it's been exaggerated in their mind, because there's no depth, no height, and no front yard setback variances. So overall, I think cumulatively, it will fit the official plan. And the opposition, I listened to all of the opposition, but they still fail to prove that the front garage, for example, what kind of really negative impact to them. I do not see the evidence, although they do not like it, but there's no evidence of that. So I'm in support of the application.
Okay, any further comments? If not, I'll take a motion. Okay,
I'll go ahead with a motion. I would move, for the reasons stated, I would move to approve the application subject to forestry condition number 3, as I believe that what is being proposed and the variance is being requested to allow that meet the general intent and purpose of the official plan and the 4 tests of the Planning Act.
okay, and we also need to attach the revised plans that were received August 6th. Those are the ones we're approving. They're date stamped by committee receipt, August
We're going to
6th.
we're tying it to plans.
Well, those
The
are
variance-
those are the plans that,
variances-
no, those are the plans we need to approve with the fence change and stuff in it. They're the revised plans that we got.
Okay, I don't think the fences affect the variances, but I'm prepared to tie it to plans if that's preferable.
Go ahead, I'm just gonna let staff weigh in here. I don't think we're necessarily tying it to plans, but those are the plans, but go ahead.
Yes, through you, Madam Chair. The previous plans were superseded, so the revised plans are the plans that are held on file.
Okay,
But if they're referenced in the decision, I have the same question that Joanne has.
Well, the plans, I understand that the plans were superseded to show us that they were going to adjust the fences.
Yes.
But the variances, please correct me if I'm wrong, but the variances have not been adjusted. I don't have any concerns with respect to the plans that the variances apply for needing to be supported by the plans. I can tie it to plans if people want to see the fences, but the fences really aren't to do with the variances. So I'll take what staff's opinion is, but
I agree with Joanne. Actually, if they are superseded, then we only have one set of plans. The superseded ones cannot be counted anyway.
whatever you say.
Through Madam Chair, that is correct. The variances haven't changed, but I would move forward with the revised plans.
Okay, so should we tie it then to the revised plans submitted August 6th?
If that is part of the condition,
Was that the
then
way
yes.
to clarify it,
Yes,
that
yes.
those are the plans?
What
Okay.
are we trying to
So we're
ensure by tying?
we're
I have
trying
the
to,
same problem as Joanne. What are we trying to tie it,
Okay,
by
I-
tying it to plans, what are we trying to ensure?
I think we want to ensure that it's the revised plans that are going to be, adopted, that's all.
But we're not adopting plans. I mean,
Well,
that
do you know
was
what I
the
mean?
point
That the
Joanne
building-
was making. If there was something, I agree with Joanne on this. If there was
Okay.
something in the variances that suggested you had to build in accordance with the plans, fine. The only thing, as I understood it, and I stand to be corrected if I'm wrong, the only thing that the site plan, the new plans show that is relevant to the discussion is the fence. And so if you're going to tie it to plans, are we also saying that there's to be fencing as per the site plan? Because that's not related to the variances.
Agreed, but it is something that was done, for the residents, including
But I don't
some
think,
of
but
those
I,
we-
but with respect to the fencing, I'm not prepared to submit that as put that as a condition, because it's not something that we would normally put as a condition, in my opinion. And there's nothing tomorrow, like, they can continue their discussions, but there's nothing that would prevent that under the bylaw, someone can't build that fencing. And I'm not prepared to put fencing as a condition in terms of my motion.
Okay, So your motion is to approve with forestry condition number 3.
Yes.
Okay, Ms., you're seconding, Ms. Chan? All in, okay?
Yes, yes.
Okay, all in favor? Okay, so that's been approved, and I'm dissenting, and Ms. Valentini also?
Yes, I'm opposed, for other reasons, but I'm opposed.
Okay. Okay, so that carries then, so your application has been approved. Okay. The next item is item number 10. 65 Waverly Road. We have before us a copy of the plan of survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations, covering letter from the applicants, a staff report from forestry is asking for condition number 1, and we have 4 form letters in support from numbers 62, 69, 67, and 63, so both adjacent neighbors. Is the agent on the line?
Hello, hi, I'm William Chang, I'm the homeowner.
Hi, I don't think we need a presentation. Let me see if the members have any questions. We have no questions. Okay, Mr. Chang, we've read all the materials submitted, including the covering letter, as well as the presentation materials that came in late. So is there anything you want to add? We're ready to make a decision. Anything you want to add that's not in the submissions before we go into committee?
I don't think so, I'll just keep it very short. The variance is sought is triggered by an existing condition. That's about it.
All of them? Okay. All right, thank you very much. So panel members, let's take it into committee for a decision. Mr. Nipfel.
Madam Chairman, I'd like to move approval, unless my colleagues have any concerns, I'd like to move approval subject to forestry condition number 1. As the applicant indicated, these are existing conditions. It's an improvement, removal of a rotting deck and replacing it with a safe and new one. There's clearly no negative implications for anyone, and it has support from, as I understand it, neighbors on both sides.
Okay, do I have a seconder? Ms. Valentini? So motion to approve, including forestry condition number 1, moved by Mr. Nipfel, seconded by Ms. Valentini. All in favor? Okay, the application has been approved unanimously.
Isn't it forestry 2 and 3?
I have number 1.
Maybe I'm wrong.
I had number 1 as well, sorry.
Yeah?
It just might be my mistake, sorry.
Okay, no worries. All right, item number 11, 2822 Danforth Avenue. We have before us a copy of the plan of survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations. Do I have the agent on the line? Mr. Sam? Hello? Okay. If you don't get him, I'd like to move to the next item and then just keep trying. Okay, panel members, we're holding item 11 because we've lost the agent, so we're going to item number 12. 586 Holm Avenue. We have before us a copy of the plan of survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations. We have correspondence in opposition from number 586A, Glen Holm. And I believe the opposition was concerned about light, hydro costs, and light in the kitchen. We don't have any speakers listed, so are you there, Mr. Perez?
Bye.
Hello?
Just have a look and then give me a call back. But as for the garage and that, I can make that simple. I'll call you.
Mr. Perez?
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
I don't know what you're talking about, but I don't think you're talking to us.
I was online with
Yeah.
another committee member. They called me
Alrighty.
from the committee. Sorry
Okay.
about that.
Anyways, so just identify yourself for the record, and then
Good morning, Madam Chair and committee members. I'm here on behalf of the owner. My name's Eddie Perez.
Okay,
And we're proposing a second-story addition at the rear of the property.
okay, I don't think we need a presentation. Panel members, do you have any questions of the agent, Mr. Nipfel?
I can't read the plans. I have no idea what you're proposing. I can read that one, but I can't read the other plans.
We're proposing a second-story addition to the rear.
Have you got a floor plan?
There's floor plans.
Yeah, but the ones that I've got in my agenda are not legible. Do we have a better version on? Okay, I can read those better than the ones I got are not legible. Can we see the second floor, but can you talk a little bit about what you want to do?
We're adding a fourth bedroom because of my clients. They have 4 kids. They're sharing a bedroom right now, so they need an extra bedroom because they're getting older and they'd like to have a separate bedroom. So we're just adding the bedroom to the rear and only on the second floor. We're not adding the first floor level whatsoever.
Okay, so it's cantilevered, is it?
Well, it's over a veranda and it's cantilevered approximately 4 feet.
Okay, thank you. That's clear. Thank you.
Any further questions, panel members? Ms. Valentini?
Oh, does that mean that, I was just looking at, I'm not sure if this is the site, no, the survey. Currently, the 2 houses, they're attached semi at 586A, they're currently the same depth?
Ours is gonna be a little bit longer with the second story. On the first floor, they're the same depth.
Okay, but when looking at the site plan even, I think this is the site plan, sorry, let me just,
That's
sometimes,
that's the survey they're showing.
no,
right
but
now.
I'm looking at the site plan actually in my agenda, and it looks like they're still gonna be the same depth, but maybe I'm wrong, maybe that includes, is the porch included in the depth, or am I reading it wrong? Yeah, that's it.
There it is. It shows the existing concrete deck below, and the darker line is where the cantilever, which is approximately 4 feet. If you see 1.22 feet, that's how much we're going beyond the veranda. So we're projecting 4 feet.
Oh, I see, that's clearer now in your plan, that's set, thank you
That's
very
on the
much.
second floor. Yeah,
Yeah, thank you.
you're welcome.
Any further questions, panel members? Okay, seeing none, Mr. Perez, we're ready to go into committee. Anything to add that wasn't in the submissions or already discussed this morning?
No, everything's pretty straightforward, and we meet the 4 tests.
Okay, panel members, we're in committee. Any comments?
There's an objection from 586A. They're not speaking today?
No, I mentioned that at the start. They objected to light and hydro costs, because they
Okay.
have to use more lights in the kitchen, from what I read.
Fair enough, thank you.
Yeah. No speakers. Okay, any other comments before we make a decision? Ms. Hayes?
I had similar problems in terms of reading some of the plans, but when you looked at it overall, the way that street goes, there seems to be one a few doors down that extends further back, but I don't know whether or not it's a full two-story, but I would have liked to have heard from 586A, but with the cantilever portion, hopefully there'd be some ability to, it's not solidly blocking all access to light. Those would be my initial thoughts.
Okay, any other comments? Okay, if not, I'll need a motion.
Okay, try, through you, Madam Chair, having reviewed the materials, that are on file, and the rear lot pattern as shown on the location map that's been provided, I don't think that the depth is unprecedented, and I'd be prepared to approve the application.
Okay, do I have a seconder? Ms. Chan? Okay, motion to approve, moved by Ms. Hayes, seconded by Ms. Chan. All in favor? Mr. Nipfel, are you dissenting?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Okay, so the application has been approved, and Mr. Nipfel dissents. Did you get James Sam yet? Okay. So he's there? Hi, Miss Sam, are you there? Mr. Sam?
Hello, hey everybody.
Okay, everyone, we're going back now to item 11, so that's 2822 Danforth Avenue, and again, we have no correspondence. We have only copy of plan of survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations before us, and there's no speakers listed. I don't think we need a presentation. Panel members, do you have any questions of the applicant? Ms. Valentini.
Just wanted to confirm this is a parking variance, so I'm assuming that portion of the Danforth has on-street parking, paid parking of some sort during, you know, business hours, that type of thing?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, Mr. Sam, we've read all the material. We're ready to take this into committee. Is there anything you want to add that hasn't already been submitted?
No, basically we could fit 3 parking stalls. That's if another variance is considered, basically to have a smaller stall than your typical City of Toronto stall. So an average car length is 1.8 by 4.5. So if we put in 3 smaller stalls, it would basically be 2.3 by 5.3. But in this case, we're only asking for 1 parking stall because we want to be able to fit the standard City of Toronto stall.
Okay.
The applicant's reading my mind. I was going to ask you that question. Can you tell me whether there's a need? If you had a choice, would you prefer 3 smaller size spaces or 1 regular size space?
We would prefer 1 regular size space, just that based on the parking study or the vehicle maneuvering, once you open the car door, it's going to slam into the other vehicles.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, we're ready to go into committee then. Panel members, any comments? Mr. Nipfel? And then Ms. Chan.
Madam Chairman, I think this is quite a reasonable proposal. As Ms. Valentini asked, there is parking available on the street. There would be the option undersized parking, but as the applicant has, and I believe correctly, stated 3 undersized spaces would probably not be as useful as 1 properly sized space. I think given the constraints on the site, this is quite reasonable, and I'd move approval without condition.
Ms. Chan, you're seconding? Okay, so motion to approve, moved by Mr. Nipfel, seconded by Ms. Chan. All in favor? Your application has been unanimously approved. Okay, we're now going to item number 13. 65 Rogers Road. We have before us a copy of the plan of survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations, a covering letter from the applicant. Forestry is asking for condition number 1 and correspondence, sorry, in support from 63, which is adjacent. Again, I don't think we need a presentation. Is the applicant on the line?
Yes, Yasmin Mosa. Good afternoon, Madam Chair. Good afternoon, committee. I'm here. I'm the owner of the house,
Okay,
65 Rogers Road.
okay, thank you. Panel members, do you have any questions for the applicant? Mr. Niffel?
Is the setback an existing condition?
Yes.
So
I
you're
think
not
so.
really, you're not changing anything?
No,
That's the
basically
condition
we're
you
not,
currently
no.
have?
No, no
Okay,
changing
thanks.
to anything. It's as is.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good, thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, is there any more questions? Okay, Ms. Mosa, we are ready to go into committee. We've read your covering letter and all the submissions. Is there anything that's we don't know that you want to add before we make a decision?
No, nothing. I mean, the sign has been there for more than a month now and nobody has said anything.
Well, that's good news for you. No objectors.
Thank you.
All right, we'll take it into committee then. Ms. Chan?
Yeah, I think it's quite a straightforward application, and also it's just doing what the next door neighbor has already done, and I will move for approval of the forestry condition number 1.
Okay, do I have a seconder? Ms. Valentini. So motion to approve, including forestry condition 1, moved by Ms. Chan, seconded by Ms. Valentini. All in favor? Your application has been unanimously approved. Item number 14, 1008A Logan Avenue. We have before us a copy of the plan of survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations. We have email correspondence from Transportation Services, and we have Forestry is asking for condition number 2, and Transportation has no concerns. We got support letters from 117, 109, and 121 Logan in our supplemental agenda, and I'm not showing any speakers. Do I have the agent on the line?
Yes, my name is, good morning, Madam Chair. My name is Michael Shazapar, and I'm the agent on behalf of the homeowners at 10088A Logan Avenue.
Okay, I don't think we need a presentation on this. Panel members, do you have any questions? Seeing none. Okay, we've read all the materials and we don't have any questions. We're ready to take it into committee. Is there anything you want to add that we haven't seen in the correspondence?
Sure. There has been communications with the neighbors to the north and south. They have no objection to what's being proposed. She just haven't provided us with any written approval. So I just wanted to add that last note there.
Okay, thanks. All right, panel members, we'll take it into committee. Ms. Hayes?
Thank you. When I reviewed all the materials on file, I think the variances in context are reasonable and meet the tests. What's being proposed is no deeper than the neighbors on both sides, and the semi-neighbor actually's garage is larger than what the applicant is proposing in this application. So I don't think it's uncharacteristic, and if my colleagues have no further comment, I would be prepared to move a motion to approve the application, subject to forestry condition number 2.
Okay, do I have a seconder? Mr. Niffel. Okay, motion to approve, including forestry number 2, moved by Ms. Hayes, seconded by Mr. Niffel. All in favor? Your application has been unanimously approved. Thank you. Okay, item number 15, 8 Burton Road. We have before us a copy of the plan of survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations. We have 4 photographs submitted by Mr. Hoekstra, the agent, an arborist report prepared by Mr. Harding, and we have forestry asking for condition number 2. And I believe in our supplementary agenda we got support letters for number 5, number 7, number 10 adjacent, as well as number 37 Haywarden. Okay, do I have the agent on the line?
Yes, I'm here. Name's Darren Hoekstra with Partridge Fund Landscapes, representing the client at 8 Burton Road.
Okay, again, I don't think we need a presentation. Panel members, do you have any questions for the agent? Mr. Niffel?
My only question has to do with screening of the upper deck. And I'm loath to recommend high screening, but I'm wondering, have you had conversations about screening with the neighbors on either side? And what was the result of that conversation?
There's no conversation about screening, but each of those neighbors provided support in that document for this proposal.
Okay, and I noticed that, and they've seen the drawings that indicate that it's just a railing that you have on the second floor, correct?
Correct.
Okay, thank you very much.
Any other questions, panel members? Ms. Valentini?
Just so I just want a clarification. So the deck that's proposed on top of the rear addition, is that going to be a grade, similar grade to adjacent neighbors, I think, and then the grade drops as your client's property goes further back?
Yeah, the adjacent properties experience the same grade change, relatively speaking.
Okay, so the proposed deck isn't going to be at similar grade to adjacent neighbors at that point?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions, panel members? Okay, Mr. Hoekstra, we're ready to go into committee. Anything to add that's not in the submissions or was covered by the questions?
Nope, we're good.
Okay. Panel members, we're in committee. Any comments? Mr. Nipfel and then Ms. Hayes.
Go ahead first, Joanne.
Okay, thanks, Carl. Yeah, it took me, when I was reviewing these materials before the hearing, it took me a little bit of time to orientate myself to what this was and how this was going to look, similar to my colleague's comment with respect to where this sits in terms of the topography of the property. But the photographs provided a lot of clarity and, with respect to really the substantive dip, and it now sort of makes sense with respect to although it's the rooftop, it's not really the rooftop, and it is the rooftop. So given the specific characteristics of the property and that there's no objection from the neighbors, I believe that what's being proposed is appropriate. The size of the lot can support the size of the accessory structure being proposed, and I would be prepared to support the application subject to forestry condition number 2. If my colleagues have no further comments, that would be my motion.
Okay, Mr. Nipfel, did you want to add something, or?
No, I'm fine. I was concerned only, I had the same problem trying to figure out where various components were relative to neighbors, but I think, as Ms. Hayes indicated, the photographs were very helpful. My concern was primarily, that's a big deck, and my concern was if that was going to create a privacy issue for adjacent owners. But as the applicant has indicated, both adjacent owners have signed on and supported this application, and on that basis, I'm happy to support a motion of approval subject to forestry condition number 2.
Okay, so that's the motion before us, moved by Ms. Hayes, seconded by Mr. Nipfel. All in favor? Your application has been approved. Item number 16, 854 Pape Avenue. We have before us a copy of the plan of survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations. I don't have any speakers. Again, a very straightforward application. Is the agent on the line? Or actually, I stand corrected. I have one person in interest, so I'll just check and see if they are in opposition or just have a question. Is the agent on the line?
Yes, I am, Madam Chairperson. Nitin Malhotra from N Architecture.
Okay, just bear with me. I'm just going to go to the person who has an interest. Joanne, are you there? Joanne? Joanna? Ms. Corella, are you there?
Joanna, have you accidentally muted yourself? Are you unable? Are you able to unmute yourself?
Okay, Ms. Corella, if you can hear me, can you check if you have the mute on? Because I can't hear you. I'm really sorry, Mr. Malhotra, but I'm going to hold this item down because we've lost, or we see the person who wanted to speak, but we can't get her on the line. So I'm just going to hold it down while staff tries to get her. And I'm going to go to item 17, panel members. So we're going to go to 23 Major Street. And we don't have any speakers for this one. So we have before us a copy of the plan of survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations. Forestry is asking for condition number 1, and we have support from number 25 and 21 Major, so both adjacent neighbors. Do I have the agent on the line?
Yes, hi, I'm Angus Skeen, I'm the agent.
Hi, panel members. I don't think we need a presentation. Do you have any questions for the agent? No. Seeing no questions? Okay, Mr. Skeen, we've read all the materials and we're comfortable taking it into committee. Is there anything that you want to add that wasn't covered that we need to know before we make a decision?
No, I think it's fine, and it's both adjacent neighbors again are supporting the proposal, so we're very comfortable with it.
Alrighty. Okay, panel members, let's take it into the committee for a decision. Ms. Chan.
I think it's sorry. I think it's quite a straightforward application, and I do not have any issue on it. And if there's no other comments, this is my motion to move for approval with no conditions.
Okay, do I have a seconder?
Madam Chairman, is there not a forestry condition on this one?
There is, number 1.
Number 1?
Yeah.
Oh, that's number 1? Okay,
yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd second it with that.
Okay, so I have a motion to approve, moved by Ms. Chan, seconded by Mr. Niffo with forestry condition number 1. All in favor? Your application has been unanimously approved. Do you have Lauren Rose? Okay, we're going to go to item number 18, which is 127 Kilbury Road. We have before us a copy of the plan of survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations, a previous decision affecting this property, and we have no speakers listed. Do I have the agent on the line?
Yes, you do. Lauren Rose.
Okay, and we did receive some photographs in the supplemental agenda also. Panel members, I don't think we need a presentation. Do you have any questions for Mr. Rose? Anybody? Seeing none? No? Okay, Mr. Rose, we've read all the materials. We're ready to make a decision. Is there anything you want to add before we take it into committee?
No, it's just a simple cabana on an odd-shaped lot.
Okay. All right, panel members, we're in committee. Ms. Valentini,
thank you. This one, in my view, as as the applicants pointed out, the agent, that this is a very straightforward application. I think the variance is obviously triggered by the angular, or the rear lot line is on an angle. So part of the cabana proposed is going to be closer to the lot line. I see no impact rising as a result of that, and in my view, it meets the 4 tests. So I'd like to bring a motion forward for approval without any condition.
Carl, did you want to second that? I saw your hand up.
Happy to
earlier.
do that.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, motion to approve, moved by Ms. Valentini, seconded by Mr. Nipfel. All in favor? The application has been unanimously approved. Okay, where are we at with the other one? Okay, do you want to try? Because the next one has opposition, so I don't...
Hi, I have a caller that's called in with the phone number 905727. Can you just state your name and what file you're here for? You've been unmuted.
Hello?
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, who is this?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Who are you?
My name is Michael Swan. I'm from Homes to Be Design Corporation. I'm representing the owners of 91 Atlas.
Okay, hang on 1 second. We were actually still trying to get a... Okay, so Joanne's dropped again, so you know what, I'm sorry. Okay, we're gonna go back to item 16. We've made multiple attempts to get a hold of this person and have been unable to do so. So, Mr. Malhotra, are you there?
Yes, Madam Chairperson.
Okay, hang on a second. All right. Panel members, do you have any questions for Mr. Malhotra? And just to refresh your memory, we don't have any correspondence. We just have the copy of plan of survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations before us. And we did have somebody, it says here, who wanted to express, who had an interest. I don't know if that was in support or opposed, but we can't reach them. So do you have any questions for Mr. Malhotra? Any of you? No? Okay, Mr. Malhotra, we've read all the materials. The panel members don't have any questions. Is there anything you want to add before we take this into committee for a decision?
No, Madam Chairperson, I do not.
Okay, and you're speaking on behalf of the owner, correct?
I am, yes, I am.
Okay, great. Okay, let's take it into committee. Any comments? Mr. Nipfel.
Madam Chairman, this is an improvement over an existing condition, I believe. I don't see that there are any negative implications to immediate neighbors or the neighborhood. Basically, there's going to be a canopy provided over 2 remaining gas pumps, which provides weather protection for the users. The building on the site is smaller than what currently exists. So in many respects, I think this is an improvement over existing conditions. I don't see any difficulties with it, and I'd like to move approval without condition.
Okay, do I have a seconder? Ms. Chan? All right, motion to approve, moved by Mr. Nipfel, seconded by Ms. Chan. All in favor? Okay, your application's been approved, sir. Thanks for your patience. The next item is item number 19, 91 Atlas Avenue. We have before us a copy of the plan of survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations, a covering letter from Mr. Swan, the agent, correspondence in support from 30 Winnett, as well as residents on, more residents on Winnett, and a lot of people on Atlas. It's a total of 30 people in support. And I'm just looking if it includes the adjacent neighbors. Yeah, it includes number 89, which is adjacent. We have correspondence in opposition from the other neighbor at number 93, who is listed as a speaker here. And I also want to note that we, in our supplementary agenda, which we got late, we got a photograph from Mr. Swan, the agent, as well as a support letter from number 90 Atlas. So Mr. Swan, are you there?
Yes, I am, thank you.
Okay, well, do you have Mr. Vieira? Is he on the line?
Yep, I have.
Okay. Mr. Swan, we do have a speaker in opposition. You have 5 minutes to do a presentation starting now.
Thank you. I would like to thank the committee for an opportunity to present an application on behalf of my client. The proposal is to demolish an original deck located at the rear of the existing house and replace it with a new, more usable one, relocate an existing hot tub as part of the deck design, and introduce a pergola. 91 Atlas is known as a two-story brick detached house built in the early part of the 20th Center Street, along with the majority of the homes in this neighborhood. The neighborhood is situated on sloping lands which rise to the east. 91 Atlas has 13 steps which rise from the public sidewalk up to the front door. Only 4 steps are required at the rear of the house from the same floor to the ground. This change in topography results in the building being viewed as a 3-story house under the zoning bylaw, which means that the proposed rear deck is considered to be accessed from the second floor, even though there would only be 4 steps down to the ground. A zoning examiner was received assessing the deck as a second-story deck. The way in which the zoning bylaw has been crafted puts the lot, like the subject lot, at an automatic disadvantage due to the topography of the land. If the change in topography at the front of the building was not a factor, the proposed deck would be considered to be projecting from the first floor of the building. The proposed structure is located at the rear of 91 Atlas would create a very usable and desired space. The proposed deck would incorporate a hot tub which would be accessed from the rear of the house. Pergola, which is non-structural, would provide partial screening from the hot summer sun while creating a more intimate space for the family. The zoning examiner has considered the proposal to be including an accessory structure because the proposed deck and hot tub are to be covered by a pergola. The interpretation of this pergola is an accessory structure is only one of the ways in which the proposal could be reviewed. If the element was reviewed as a canopy over a platform, no deficiency regarding the total floor area of an accessory structure would be identified by the zoning note. The relocation of the hot tub from the back of the property to the edge of the deck would provide more privacy for the neighbors. This accumulation of built form promotes a better use of the soft landscaping space. The proposed deck is set back from the same distance from the property line as the existing sidewall of the building. Although it is only 0.15 meters from the north property line, its location will not impact the neighboring property at 93 Atlas. The southern wall of 93 Atlas is a 2-story masonry wall without openings. This wall extends beyond the majority of the deck. As well, a board fence is currently located between the property between 91 and 93 Atlas. The proposed deck will be separated from the neighbor to the south by a mutual driveway. The owners have, as you notice, have canvassed the neighborhood and have obtained 30 letters of support. It is believed that the 4 tests are satisfied. The general intent and purpose of the city's official plan has been maintained. The proposed replacement in large deck and pergola and hot tub do create items of zoning compliance. However, the zoning bylaw was not drafted to deal with the existing types of topography of the lot. Furthermore, there would be no maximum required area of the deck if it was considered to be projecting from the first floor. The proposal is appropriate for the development of land and buildings and would be creating a usable amenity area adjacent to the existing living room. Variances requested are minor. The proposal will not create any further extension of the house than what presently exists. Although the deck and pergola will create some shadowing on the neighboring property to the north, the shadowing will fall mostly on the side wall that contains no opening. The proposal will not have an impact on any trees since there are none in the immediate surrounding area. I believe, based on my report and this presentation, that sufficient proof has been presented for approval and is requested that the committee grant the minor variances sought. Thank you for the opportunity to talk to the committee.
Thank you, Mr. Swan. We'll have you back after we hear from the opposition. Mr.
Thank
Vieira, Mr. Vieira, are you there?
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ricardo Vieira. I'm the owner at 93 Atlas on the north side.
Okay, sir, you have 5 minutes starting now.
So I would like to say I don't oppose the neighbors to the applicant to build a deck. My only concern is they're asking for 0.15 meters away from the property line, which brings their deck flush to the existing fence, which I built myself when I purchased the property. Going back to the beginning of this story, the applicant started this project without permits. They were stopped by the inspection, and which caused a verbal argument between neighbors. My main concern is if I do need to do any maintenance to the existing fence, if they build flush to the fence, I will not have enough room to do any maintenance to the fence. So I'm asking them to set back 0.45 meters away from the property line, which will give me about 30 centimeters to do any maintenance work. Also, I had requested a privacy screen on the deck. And just because of the height of their deck versus the fence, they will be sitting up quite high, overlooking the fence quite easy.
Okay, I did see that in your letter, so we can ask the agent to come back and to address those two requests. You there, Mr. Swan?
Yes, I am.
Okay, can
In
you?
regards to the setback of the fence to the deck, the proposed deck is just in line with the existing wall, which is in existing condition. If a deck was moved 0.45 meters, that is hardly enough room to do maintenance. It's just over a foot so not much space would be made usable for that. On top of that, there's no mutual right-of-way in that area for gaining access to that part of the property anyways. And I do notice that the owner of 93 has their own deck, their own structure right against their own fence, which means that they can't even maintain their own side of the fence. As far as the privacy screen, the owners of 91 Atlas are quite willing to put a privacy screen along the proposal in where the hot tub is located, but just on the north side, separating 91 and 93. And I hope that the privacy screen will, be sufficient for the neighbor to have his concerns met.
Okay, so just to clarify, if we were to put a condition on, the privacy screen would be on the north side, you say?
Yes, and in between 91 and 93, we would attach it to the columns of the pergola.
Sorry, I didn't catch the last part you said.
The privacy screens would be supported, attached by the columns for the pergola.
I see. Okay. Panel members, do you have any questions for Mr. Swan? Okay, we'll take it into committee then for a decision. Mr. Nifl?
Madam Chairman, the point about the fence and being able to maintain it on either side is, without actually standing on the fence line, I'm a little at a loss as to how to rule on that. The fence is there, and according to the applicant, the neighbor doesn't have space to maintain it on his side, but more to the point about this application, he doesn't have a right of way to maintain it on the side of number 91. So I'm not really sure how pulling the deck back by the amount that's proposed would be very beneficial. I do, however, think that the privacy screen is appropriate, and unless my colleagues have other concerns, I'd be prepared to move. And I think that the deck and the hot tub are reasonably consistent with the use of exterior rear yards, and subject to addressing privacy. I don't see there's a difficulty in improving them. I do think that a privacy screen along the north side of the proposed deck and hot tub is appropriate, and I'd like to recommend that a condition of approval be that a permanent opaque screen be provided along that north side of the deck and the hot screen, or the hot tub, to a minimum height of 1.5 meters, and that would be along the north side of the deck and the hot tub. Subject to that condition, I think that this is quite reasonable, and I'd be prepared to move approval of the application.
Okay, do I have a seconder? Ms. Chan? Okay, motion to approve moved by Mr. Nipfel, including the condition outlined by Mr. Nipfel for screening. Moved by Mr. Nipfel, seconded by Ms. Chan. All in favor? Motion's been unanimously approved. Okay, item number 20, 161 Queensdale Avenue. We have before us a copy of the plan of survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations. We have a report from community planning. If staff can put it up, they're asking for a condition. And correspondence from number 150 Queensdale. And just looking here. And then I had in my notes that there was actually support from 150, 154, 151, 123, and 165. But okay, are you there, Miss? I don't know, Gregorio.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, that's hard. It's a tongue twister. Okay.
It is.
Yeah. All right.
Gabriela Gregorio, agent for the owner. I'm here.
Okay. We don't have any speakers in opposition or in support, so panel members, I don't think we need a presentation. Do you have any questions? Mr. Nipfel and then Ms. Valentini.
Go ahead, Lisa. Is there support from 163, which I believe is the attached semi? Have you got any support from them, or if
Yes.
they're opposed, that you do, okay.
Yes, we do. We presented it.
And they indicated their support to you verbally?
Yes. No, there is a letter. It's also in your.
I'm just.
Okay, I didn't find that one.
No, me either. I missed that one, but I'm just scrolling it again. Because I just had the ones that I mentioned earlier. Hold on. 120.
They were on vacation and they were contacted later by the owner. It was presented separately.
Yeah, we
10
don't
days ago.
have it on file. Like, we just have the ones that I mentioned. 150.
If the owner is on call, she can probably provide you more detail.
That's okay. I think we believe you. I think it just didn't make it
Thank
into
you.
the file. Any other questions? Ms. Valentini?
Sorry, have you looked at the planning condition and do you have any concerns with that?
If we have concerns about the planning condition?
Yes, that it be built in substantially in accordance with the plans. In terms
Yes.
of this.
It will be built exactly as the plans, yes.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Any further questions? Okay, Ms. Grigoriou. All right. We're ready to take it into committee. We've read all the materials. We have no further questions. Anything you want to add that wasn't in the submissions?
No, thank you.
All right. All right, panel members, we're in committee. Ms. Chan.
Yes, I have studied the material, and actually the examples, quite a few examples on the same street have already got enclosed front porch. With the planning conditions, I will suggest for approval. I think that's the only conditions.
It is. Okay, do I have a seconder, Ms. Hayes? Okay, motion to approve, including the condition in the planning report dated August 11th, moved by Ms. Chan, seconded by Ms. Hayes. All in favor? Okay, your application has been unanimously approved. Item number 21, 135 Lippincott Street. We have before us a copy of the plan of survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations, a covering letter from the agent. We have a form letter in support from number 142, an 8 signature petition from number 137, which is adjacent, 155, 123, 167, 107, 115, and 133, which is also adjacent. And I'm not showing any opposition speakers. Do I have the agent on the line?
Yes, I'm here, Timothy Mitanides, I'm the agent for the owner.
Okay, panel members, I don't think we need presentation. Do you have any questions for the agent? Okay, seeing none, Mr. Matanides, we are ready to go into committee. Is there anything you want to add before we do so that wasn't in the submissions?
No, thank you.
Okay. All right, we're in committee, panel members. Ms. Hayes.
Thank you. Having reviewed all the materials on file, I think that what's being proposed is certainly not out of character with the neighborhood. There is a basement walkout next door. This one juts out a little further into the front yard, but certainly I don't think would have a negative impact. And if my colleagues have no further comments, I'd be prepared to move a motion to approve the application with no conditions.
Okay, I think they're okay with that, so I'll take it as a motion then. Do I have a seconder? Okay, Ms. Chan. So, motion to approve, moved by Ms. Hayes, seconded by Ms. Chan. All in favor? The application has been unanimously approved. Item number 22, 13 Oxford Street. We have before us a copy of the plan of survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations, a decision affecting the property, a previous C of A decision. We have correspondence from Heritage, and they have no comment. And I don't have any speakers listed other than the agent. Are you on the line?
Yes, hello, Chris Walker, 87 Brickworks Line.
Okay. Again, this is a very straightforward. We don't need a presentation. Panel members, do you have any questions? I think this is Ms. Chan. Go ahead.
Oh, just one small question. Number 15, did you talk to them? Are they okay with it?
We weren't able to get in touch with them at this round, but if you recall, this is our second time at committee. We talked to them when we did the addition, but this is just for such a minor variance for the setback for the fire shutter for for
Yes, I agree. I only just wanted that.
No, we did not. We did not talk to them in particular about this item. We weren't able to get in touch with them.
Any other questions? Ms. Valentini?
So just not knowing exactly how our fire shutter operates, I'm assuming that this setback still allows it to operate in the event of a fire. Is that correct?
Yes.
Like, or is it permanently on? I don't know.
Yeah. What there is there's a metal box on the outside of the wall above the window, and it has 2 rails on either side of the window, and it has a fuse inside and out. When that fuse is triggered, by fire, the roll shutter automatically rolls down on the outside of the building. And so to accommodate that roll shutter, you need a box that's about 10 inches deep. And it's not the 10 inches that's the issue. There's some additional mechanism which makes it protrude even more than the 10-inch box. There's one particular arm on the box that sticks out further.
Thank you. So this was the window shown on the original variance application, or just got missed for the fire shutter?
No, it was a naive move on the client to just add it in, and then the building inspector said you need a variance for that, and here we are.
Okay. Because I was assuming it would have been triggered before. Okay.
It would have
thank
been,
you.
yes. It would have been nice to have put it on the first application, yes.
Yeah. So the window was added after.
That's right.
Okay, any other questions? Seeing none, anything else to add, Mr. Walker? I think we're ready to make a decision here.
Great.
Okay. Panel members? We're in committee. Mr. Niffel?
Madam Chairman, this is clearly a health and safety issue, a desirable attribute for not only this building, but the adjacent building. It clearly isn't going to create any negative, and it's going to, in fact, provide positive impact to the neighborhood. I'd like to move approval without condition.
Ms. Chan, I saw your hand go up. Do you want a second? Okay. So motion to approve moved by Mr. Niffel, seconded by Ms. Chan. All in favor? The application's been unanimously approved. Thank you. Item number 23, 416 Oakwood Avenue. We have before us a copy of the plan of survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations. We have email correspondence from transportation. I don't think they have any concerns. And correspondence in opposition from number 1, Hanson Road. And then we received late in our supplementary agenda a covering letter from the agent and more correspondence from number 1, Hanson Road. Okay, I do show 2 speakers. Do I have the agent on the line?
Good morning or afternoon, Madam Chair and committee members. My name is Stephen Chi. I'm a planner from Design Plan Services, and we have been retained by the owner of 416 Oakwood Avenue to present information on this application.
Okay, just bear with me 1 second. Do you have both these people on the line? I see them both there. Okay, all right. Do I have Jeremy? Hi, Jeremy, are you there?
Yes, hi.
Hi,
Sorry.
are you speaking in opposition or are you just listening in?
I'm speaking in opposition.
Okay, so you, if you can just give us your address and your full name for the record, and then as soon as you've done that, the clock will start. You have 5 minutes.
Sure, my name is Jeremy Barchichat, and I live on 3 Hanson Road.
Okay, go ahead.
So overall, this this project, I don't have any issue on the 2 parking spots that they are asking for variance for. However, I am very concerned about the place of the trash that is being on the back. This is only right next to the fence, and it's exactly against my backyard. I have a small backyard, and when I want to spend time with my kid, that's where I go. So I am concerned that in the future, having pests, smells, people going there, I don't know what's going to be the type of maintenance that's going to be done there on a longer term. I am concerned that that's going to have consequences on my property that I try to keep clean. We don't have good examples of people living on Oakwood and building maintenance on Oakwood being properly done. So I am very concerned about that aspect, and I'm very curious to understand if there is a bylaw authorizes the fact that garbage bin can be put so close to fence of other properties. This is my first concern. My second concern is the fact that this property that I have asked initially for being residential, and that was not granted, and now they're asking for being as a studio, artist studios and offices, and when you look at the layout inside, you see that everything look like an apartment. So how can we make sure that in the future this is not going to be rented illegally, as people people are going to live there and not just offices and artist studios. So that's my second concern. Maybe it's not part of your scope today, but I wanted to raise that question as well.
Okay, thank you. Panel members, do you have any questions of the speaker? Okay. Thank you very much, sir. Do I have Stephen Kloos on the line?
Yes, I'm unmuted. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. If you can also identify yourself, name and address for the record, and then you have 5 minutes.
Yes, my name is Stephen Kloos. I am the resident at 1 Hanson Road, directly north of this property at 416 Oakwood. Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the committee, for allowing me to speak. Just quickly, this property has been a mystery for several years, with periods of stop and start construction and various work being done without permits over these years. The garbage storage, as indicated, can absolutely not be located anywhere near my property line or any other neighboring residence. This is a health and safety issue. A multi-unit building should have storage inside and or regular city or similar pickup at curbside on the street front of Oakwood Avenue, such as nearby multi-unit properties at 448 Oakwood, 452 Oakwood, and 450 Oakwood Avenue, which are all within 100 meters of this property. All have curbside pickup. I've not had any correspondence or updates with regards to this property whatsoever for years. And, I think we as residents have a right to know what the recent history of the project has been, and particularly any and all environmental issues and how they have been addressed. Having the garbage stored on the property line is a negative impact on my health and safety, peace of mind, and property value. And furthermore, attracting pests and insects compromises health and sanitary conditions of the immediate neighborhood. We'd like to know what the environmental issues that exist or have existed, and what was and is being done, if anything, to remediate. This property had a history of use as a almost industrial level dry cleaning in the past, and it's changed hands in ownership, I think 5 times since 1999, and the last 2 times as a power of sale, which usually means a bank or a lender won't finance something that has environmental issues. Outdated approvals, as in this cover letter from 10 years ago, are clearly expired by statute of limitations alone, and there's no record of a public hearing with regards to allowing them to have garbage on the property line of a neighboring resident. A lot has changed in recent years. Since 2011, there are green initiatives in Toronto and in the province being mandated today. This residential neighborhood is rejuvenating and gentrifying, and a lot of new residents moving into the area that I would be concerned about having an anomaly with an environmental issue in the middle of it. The bylaws state new developments will be reviewed on a case-by-case basis by Solid Waste Management Services. And as I said, garbage is garbage, whether it's from residential or commercial sources. This definitely has to be moved away from the residential properties on the north side, either A, to the southern property line next to 410 Oakwood, where there's an empty rear lot. B, inside the building itself at 416 Oakwood with internal storage or internal chute disposal system. Or C, the applicant can have the curbside frequent pickup, as I mentioned, with the other neighboring properties in the area on Oakwood Avenue. But the environmental issues need to be disclosed to the immediate community. And as per the cover letter, if the Ministry of Environment refused the record of site condition because it does not qualify for residential use, then it also does not qualify to exist next to my residential or any other residential properties either, until there is further remediation issues addressed and or satisfied. As far as the parking, I know that this laneway access from Oakwood is very narrow, and there's even another property at 420 Oakwood across from this property that are trying to apply for parking access. You know, over the years during these stop and start constructions, I've had the odd time where some of my fence boards were damaged by vehicles going in and out. So this is a pretty tight issue. I mean, of course, you know, buildings of that size need some sort of parking access. Maybe the city should expand the municipal parking garage 2 doors down, parking lot. But you know, these are a property of this magnitude in a gentrifying neighborhood like this should be looked at more closely, I think. I thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Mr. Is it Xi? I'm not sure I pronounced this right. Stephen?
Chi.
Chi.
Yes, Steve.
Okay.
That's correct.
I know you weren't able to present, but I think, you know, I'll give you a little bit of extra time if needed. I think the concerns are really predominantly related to the garbage issue, which isn't before us here. And you did hear the comments about the parking also, so if, you know, go ahead and if you can address those concerns and add anything else you feel that's relevant that the committee needs to know about the variances.
Sounds good. I'm just gonna give my full presentation actually, which will cover all the questions and all the neighbors'
Okay.
concerns.
Go ahead.
The proposal is for an existing building and an approved zoning bylaw amendment, and a parking variance was triggered due to the change of use of the upper floors of the building. As provided in my cover letter, the subject site was approved in 2008 for a mixed-use building, including commercial spaces on the ground floor and residential units above through a zoning bylaw amendment. And the building was renovated to its current condition with site plan approval and a conditional building permit. The condition of the building permit is that the owner has to obtain a record of site condition, RSC, from the ministry before anyone can occupy the residential units. However, due to the environmental constraints on the subject site, an RSC was not issued, cannot be issued. So therefore, the owner has decided to change the use of upper storage from residential to offices and art studios, which is a less sensitive use, which does not require an RSC, and remove all the residential components, such as kitchens, from all the units. So the variance is only pertaining to the parking requirement, where 8 parking spaces are required and 2 parking spaces provided. Please note that the minimum of 2 parking spaces was approved by the zoning bylaw amendment. However, the zoning bylaw amendment was specifically tailored for the originally proposed residential uses and not for office use, which is why the parking variance was triggered. Provided 2 parking spaces will continue to be used for the retail uses on the ground level only, and no parking spaces will be provided for the offices and artist studios, which is consistent with the approval of the zoning bylaw amendment. The subject site is located on Oakwood, which is well serviced by existing public transit. There are on-street parking available on Oakwood as well, and there is a public parking lot just to the south of the property. So we think this is we think the requested variance for parking spaces is very minor in nature. So we acknowledge that neighbors' objection letter and also hearing from them today, which raised concerns regarding the location of the garbage storage. As provided in my cover letter as well, the location of the garbage storage was reviewed and approved by city staff through a site plan approval process, and building permit was issued. The current proposal does not change the location of the garbage storage, which is consistent with the site plan approval and the building permit drawings. By changing the uses from residential to offices and artist studios may actually improve the garbage situation if the site was actually used for residential, as garbage generated from residential will be mostly living or like organic garbage that will have smells or other impacts if it was used for a residential household. For offices, it will only be office supplies and other less, I would say, impactful garbage. Further, we have confirmed with the architect and the landowner, the garbage storage will be enclosed with fences, which further mitigate any potential impact on the surrounding areas. And with regard to garbage pickup, so the garbage storage is going to be enclosed, and the garbage bins is going to be put within that enclosed area. So when it will still be curbside pickup, so the property manager or owner will have to drag the bins out to the street for garbage pickup. So it would be very similar, very typical for similar type of building in the city. And just want to add some more information on the environmental issue. An environmental site assessment, both phase 1 and phase 2 has been completed and has confirmed that the site does not meet the residential standards. Remediation measures were actually considered, however, it was not viable as the source of environmental issue is coming from off-site. So I think, and that concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Okay, thanks a lot, Stephen. Panel members, do you have any questions for the applicant, Mr. Niffel?
Could you tell me what the zoning designation for the property is? Is it a residential designation or is it a commercial designation?
Right now, it's a mixed-use designation based on the approved zoning bylaw amendment in 2018.
And there is no requirement for a buffer between this use and the adjacent residential uses, which is very unusual. Is that the case?
That is the case because it is an existing building. There's no change to the building exterior at all. It's just.
No, I'm just talking about what the zoning is. Normally, zoning would provide for a buffer zone, and you're clarifying that that isn't the case here. The other comment you made that I find really difficult is that this went through site plan control, which is to deal with issues such as the very issue that we have before us today. Normally, if there's a proposal to put garbage adjacent to a residential use, the site plan control process ensures that there be an appropriate buffer between where refuse is stored and the adjacent residential uses. And are you saying that the site plan control approval for this site clearly placed the garbage storage right adjacent to the property lines? Is that correct?
I didn't say that that was a specific requirement from the site plan control. It is the location of it or the layout of the site was approved, was reviewed and approved by the city through a site plan approval process.
Okay, in the site plan control approval process, what you led us to believe was that what we have before us received site plan control approval, which means that site plan control approval approved the location of the garbage storage immediately adjacent to residential properties. That's what you've led me to believe, at any rate, and I find that really hard to believe. So I'm just questioning, was there a site plan control approval perhaps with garbage storage somewhere else? But I find it really hard to accept that a site plan control approval, which deals with these types of issues, would not require some kind of a screening or a barrier between residential uses and this garbage storage. So I'm questioning what you're telling us.
So the site plan approval was previously done, was done by the previous landowner before current landowner acquired the property. And we did receive a site plan approval based on the exactly same layout, and also
including the location of the garbage storage, exactly immediately adjacent to the residential property.
That is, so we, in my cover letter, I attached a building permit approved drawing. That's exactly the site plan that we submitted for the rezoning and for site plan and also for building permit.
I think Ms. Hayes wants to add something, Carl. I'm not sure. Joanne?
So was the site plan approval process related to the residential development of the property versus what you're seeking now, which is mixed use?
That is correct. Oh, sorry, no. So it was approved based on a mixed use standpoint. because the original proposal is for residential and commercial on the ground floor.
But the
Right
site,
now,
but the site plan process at the city was related to the proposal that you're now not going to proceed with because you're no longer going to have a residential component to the building. Is that correct?
that is correct, because residential building component is being removed.
Okay, so when the site plan was proposed, it was to deal with a mixed-use building that contained retail or commercial and residential above, and the city approved the location where it is.
That is correct.
So you're saying the real reason that you're changing uses is because the standards for occupancy on the residential component and the meeting of the condition with respect to the environmental remediation either isn't possible, or your client has chosen not to proceed with that and is altering the plans that then delete that requirement, but the city has not mentioned anything with respect to, has not made any comment with respect to where the garbage is that correct?
That is correct, but several conversations has happened with the city regarding the change of use, and it was supported by city planning, and that is why we don't see any planning comments today in front of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Chan, did you have something to add?
Yes, I have two questions, but the second one is more important to do with this site plan approval process. As Carol pointed out, as I understand it, that the garbage handling and the location is all addressed by the site plan approval. But if you have a different proposal, I do not believe the initial approval applied to the current use, change of use, and particularly because the change of use is from residential to studio, and you argue that the refuge will be less environmental sensitive. But I tend to disagree with that because I'm maybe part-time artist. An artist studio actually produce more hazardous waste, and this is my opinion, and I think that is a little bit confusing to me. And what has been approved, whether that site plan approval have received final approval, or whether it was only a conditional approval. And I think it's a little bit misleading here. And also the first question I go back to is that since you have submitted a cover letter explaining the history, I still do not understand why the environmental certificate or whether it's been turned down for residential use. Is it because of hazardous gas from the soil? You have never told us the reason why they turned it down. And I think that the reason to turn it down may be good to know. Whether it's appropriate for this use too. That's my two questions. Can you answer them, please?
Through you, Madam Chair, yes, I can answer those questions. So I'll go with the second question regarding the site contamination. So through the phase 1 and phase 2 environmental site assessment, contamination was found both in the soil. That was coming from off-site. So that makes it very difficult for remediation. And also, it is out of the area of my expertise, and those are the comments I can provide. And we have confirmed with the ministry and also the city, by changing the use from residential to office, which is a less sensitive use, which does not require a record of site condition anymore. Just going back to your first questions related to site plan. So there was a site plan approval with the original approval, with original zoning bylaw amendment building permit. That's for the original use, which is residential. That is correct. And I believe that is a separate process that should be through site plan approval. And that's something we will verify with the city again, whether for the proposed use approval process is needed or not. And based on our conversation with the city so far, it is not required, but we will confirm, and that is a separate process. And
Okay,
I just want to emphasize again, in front of the committee today, it's only for the 2 parking variances.
Thank you very much, because that will really clarify it, because my question is whether you are subject to a new site plan approval application, and then then the garbage issue will be addressed. So I understand your answer. Thank you.
I think we're kind of getting sidetracked here because the variance that's before us is for parking. I do understand the garbage concerns. And I heard some mention about changes of use, but I don't even see in the purpose of the application, there's nothing here about use. I don't know if staff wants to weigh in, but I think it's a mixed, I don't know if it was, it says an existing commercial building, but it sounds like it already has retail on the floor, on the ground floor, as well as an artist studio, and it sounds like they're expanding that. I don't know if staff, if you want to have anything to add, but I think we're only dealing with the 2 parking spaces today, and we're getting really off track right now here with environmental studies and things that are not part of committee's considerations. Although I do respect the concerns that the neighbors are expressing about the garbage, but that's also not before us. So I don't know if you have anything to add about the site plan.
Through you, Madam Chair, I just looked up the zoning certificate for this site, and it hasn't been identified that site plan control would be required. And if site plan control was required, then this application would be premature, and planning staff perhaps would have submitted a report outlining that the application is premature. Just for information purposes, there was a site plan control application that was approved in 2012, and it included residential uses as part of that site plan approval.
Did it include also some commercial? Because to me, it sounds in the purpose like there is some commercial there with residential.
Yes, that's correct. There was retail at grade.
Okay, Ms. Hayes?
Madam Chair, I agree with your comments. I was just trying to seek to clarify, make sure that, site plan control is not subject to most of these applications. And normally, if this property didn't have that history, we wouldn't even be talking about site plan control, and it was probably a condition when the site-specific bylaw was put in place. So I agree that the parking issue is the only one there, and planning, we don't have anything from planning or and transportation has not made any comments at all, other than that they have no concerns.
I just wait. Yes, I do agree with that. The only variance in front of us is just a parking. But the reason why we got sidetracked is that because of the cover letter, it did mention all these issues. And then I thought that because of that, and then that raised a few questions, and then that's why Kyle and I was asking these questions.
Okay, we really do need to move forward because there's a second hearing starting soon. So we still have 3 items to go after this. So are there any other questions about the variance itself from the applicant? Okay, Ms. Chan?
Yes, given that all these questions, I'm ready to move for approval of the only variance. I do not believe there are any conditions.
Okay, so we're in committee then, and I have a motion to approve, moved by Ms. Chan, seconded by Ms. Hayes. Okay, all in favor? Okay, Mr. Nipfel, are you dissenting? I can't.
Yes, I am. I don't agree with this at all.
Okay, so your application has been approved and Mr. Nipfel dissents. All right, item number 24, 336 Manning Avenue, We have before us a copy of the plan of survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations, a 5-signature petition from homeowners on Manning, including both adjacent properties, and I'm not showing any opposition speakers. Do I have the agent on the line?
Yes, hello, it's David Riley here from SGL Planning.
Hi.
1547 Bloor Street West. Hi.
Hi. Okay, I don't think we need a presentation. Panel members, do you have any questions for the agent?
No.
Okay. Mr. Riley, we don't have any questions. We've read all the materials. We're ready to go into committee. Is there anything you want to add that hasn't been covered?
No, nothing to be added, just that, you know, thanks for your time today. This is an existing building, no exterior alterations, and we're looking to add a nice size unit so that there's 3 units rather than 2, and we have a dwelling right next door that also has 3 units, so it's pretty characteristic of the area.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, we'll go into committee. Any comments on Mr. Nipfel?
Madam Chairman, as the applicant has indicated, there are no external revisions to this proposal. I don't see that there is any negative implications. There is, in fact, a similar situation immediately next door. We reviewed everything, can't find anything to object to, and I'd like to move approval with no conditions.
Okay, do I have a seconder? Ms. Hayes? Okay, motion to approve, moved by Mr. Nipfel, seconded by Ms. Hayes. All in favor? Your application has been unanimously approved. Thank you. Item number 25, 98 Roxborough Street West. We have before us a copy of the plan of survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations. We have forestry asking for condition number 2, no further correspondence, and I have no speakers listed. Do I have the agent on the line?
Hi, can you hear me?
I can.
Yep.
Hi, good afternoon, Madam Chair and the members of the committee. My name is Jerzy Brabianski. I will be the agent acting on this application today.
Okay, I don't think we need a presentation. Panel members, do you have any questions? No? Okay, we've read the materials. We don't have any questions. Is there anything that you feel that you need to add, that we need to know that's not in the submissions before we go into committee to make a decision?
No, I don't.
Okay. All right, we're in committee. Panel members? Ms. Hayes?
Thank you. Having reviewed the materials and looking at the area, although what's being requested, it requires what some might say is a substantive variance. It's not out of character with many of the other structures in that area, and I would support approval of the application subject to forestry condition number 2, and I'd be prepared to make that motion if my colleagues have no further comments.
I see a lot of head nodding, so yeah. Okay. So do I have a seconder? Lisa. All right, motion to approve, including forestry condition number 2, moved by Ms. Hayes, seconded by Ms. Valentini. All in favor? Your application's been unanimously approved. Our final item, item number 26, number 4 Maple Grove Avenue. We have before us a copy of the plan of survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations, a previous decision affecting the property, and forestry is asking for condition number 1. I have no further correspondence and no speakers are listed. Do I have the agent on the line?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I'm the agent and the applicant, Robert Allen.
Hi, I don't think we need a presentation. There might be some questions. Panel members, any questions for the agent? Okay, seeing no questions, sir, so is there anything that you want to add that's not covered in the submissions? We've read all the materials.
Nope, just looking to replace my porch on the same footprint as the old one.
Okay. All right, we'll take it into committee for a decision. Ms. Chan.
This is very straightforward, and when I see that it's only a rebuilding, it's not really changing, increasing any negative impact. And I think the application meets the 4 tests. And if no further comments from my colleagues, I make it as a motion for approval.
Okay, who would like to second?
Forestry condition number 1.
Forestry
Yes,
one?
yes, yes, yes.
Okay, Joanne, so motion to approve, including forestry condition number 1, moved by Ms. Chan, seconded by Ms. Hayes. All in favor? Your application's been unanimously approved. Thank you, everyone, and the committee stands adjourned at 1:25 p.m.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thanks very much.
Yeah, thanks.
I enjoyed that, thank you.
Bye.